We'd like to welcome you to the Mark Stratz simulation presentation for Group T, TechTuff. The group consists of myself, Ali Wheeler, Anil Cherian, Jenny Painter, Neha Bhargava, and Ruth Robert. On the agenda for today, we will talk about our firm's performance, the brand performance, the segment performance, the keys to our group's success, the lessons we learned during the simulation, and the key areas of marketing management. As far as the firm performance, our firm, TechTuff, started off strong by having a positive trend for our stock price index from periods 0 through period 3. However, after period 3, we experienced a major decline. From period 1 through period 3, we had the third highest SPI. Our SPI fell to 4 from period 4 through period 6. With our brand performance, Tone experienced a positive trend between periods 0 and 2. In periods 0 and 2, Tone was the #1 top-selling brand by retail sales. In period 2, Tone was the #2 top-selling brand by volume. However, after period 2, those numbers drastically declined. Tops experienced a positive trend between periods 0 and 3. In period 3, Tops was the #5 top-selling brand by retail sales. In periods 2 and 3, Tops was the #6 selling brand by volume. However, after period 3, those numbers drastically declined. As far as our performance by segment, with the high earner segment, Tone was our flagship product. We began in period 0 with 40% of the market share, but we saw a steady decline. In response, we introduced a modified Tone in period 3, but the modifications failed to recapture any of our market share. Tops and Tool never reached over 5% of the market share in the high earner segment. In the professional segment, Tone had a solid share of the market through period 2, but the modifications were catered more towards the high earner segment, and we lost market share. The R&D behind the product Tool was designed to meet the ideal characteristics of the professionals, but after a solid entrance to the marketplace at 23%, the product immediately lost market share, and it was totally eliminated by period 6 because of the choice to make an aggressive price change and to target shoppers and savers segments. Tops never had a strong foothold in the professional segment. With the Explorers market, initially, Tops had a 15% market share, and the R&D that we performed yielded a product that Explorers loved. Even with declining sales in periods 4 and 5, Tops ended on a high note with 45% of the market share. With brand awareness in the high earner segment, after period 2, Tone maintained a brand awareness of over 70%, so it's surprising that our sales continually dropped. In the professional segment, we never maintained, after period 2, we never could maintain the ideal 70% threshold for this segment with any of our 3 products. In the Explorer segment, our brand awareness for Tops gradually increased throughout the simulation. And although Tops was the premier product, the Explorer segment was decreasing in market size, so that brand awareness was not as effective as it could have been in some other segments. We consider ourselves moderately successful throughout the simulation, and here's why. As a team, we agreed to produce Tone and Tops, and that was based on the group consensus via a quick data aggregation by doing a competent analysis prior to each period and comparing it with the previous period results and data to make smart decisions. We did focus collaboratively on R&D strategy, production, and marketing through our group competitive efforts. Our 2 main products initially appealed to high earners, professionals, and explorers. Our strongest product was Tone. We as a team agreed that Sonite collaborators tend to shop in the 3 distribution channels of specialty stores, mass merchandisers, and online stores. With this background information, we made smart decisions specific to our products, including modifying products. We measured our progress from period 1 onwards and did fairly well until period 3. We also believe in our ability to reach explorers, professionals, and high earners with our 2 products in the first 3 periods. We try to utilize our budget on R&D relevant at an appropriate time. We try to make our actions timely as the periods progressed and the segment sizes shifted. The shoppers and savers group grew rapidly, whereas the professionals also increased, but at a comparatively slower pace. The explorers group also decreased in size over time. Throughout the simulation, we learned some lessons, and we asked ourselves, what if? What if we took a loan during period 1? We took a loan during period 3, and it caused our revenue to be very low, which in turn affected our decisions regarding budget allocation in period 4. We had little money to split among our 3 products, so we decided to put more advertising behind our 3rd new product, Tool. We did not put much money into advertising for Tone, which was our top seller, and as a result, all 3 of our products dropped in period 4. Also, what if we took the loan after completing Tool in period 3? It may have gave us more money for advertising for the last few periods. And we also asked, what if we had completed R&D on Tone in period 1? If we had performed, what we ended up doing was performing R&D on Tone during the same period we created Tool. And it diluted our budget because we did not have enough money to spend on all 3 products during those periods. We have tried to target shoppers and savers during period 6, but we should have began targeting those segments in period 4 as opposed to period 6 had that been our option or choice. Another issue that we had is we overestimated our production in period 3. We had a major chunk of products overstocked because we overestimated our production. We did not just lose money in overproducing them, but also in the inventory carrying costs. This was the main reason why our SPI went down in period 3. And in period 5, maybe we should have just focused on 1 product instead of all 3. I mean, with Tops, it was doing quite well through period 4. Focusing on 1 product would have kept our company on top. Instead, we split that money in advertising amongst those 3 products, which was a mistake given the limited amount of time we had to recover over the final 2 periods. Now we are going to discuss the key areas of marketing management. Segmentation allows marketers to more precisely define and understand customer needs and gives them the ability to tailor products to better suit those needs. In order to target and develop towards our target perception and ideal values, TechTuff used the market research data tools of multi-dimensional scaling, semantic scales, and conjoint analysis. Using the market data, we directed our R&D projects, both new and improvements, to move our products to their respective markets. Tone was directed towards high earners, Tops toward explorers, and Tool towards professionals when it was released in period 3. Now we're going to talk about the 4 Ps. First, product and price. With product, TechTuff was able to competitively target the high earner and explorer segments. Our products were targeted well, and each was developed. However, they were not all developed at the same rate when looking at the final results in comparison. As far as price, TechTuff had high brand awareness and purchase intentions. However, sales continued to drop in our high earner and professional segments. Using our utility charts, we attempted to decrease the price to hold in the explorer and possibly gain the professional segment. We were certain that the lower prices would project the image of lower quality. However, we needed to try a different tactic to gain our high earners and professional segments back. It was quite noticeable in the simulation that once your company gets into an overproduction situation, it is very hard to get out of the red and back into the black. As we could all see, a higher profit meant higher investment, back into development and advertising. As far as place and promotion, with place, the Explorer, professionals, and high earner markets were centered heavily in the distribution arena of specialty stores. However, the consumer survey shopping habit report kept TechTuff in an equally split 1/3 online and mass merchandise average in periods 4 through 6, as the customer's ideals changed and our targets shifted. With promotion, TechTuff was able to competitively target the high earners and explorer segments. Our products were well advertised, and it showed in our brand awareness for tone and tops. We dedicated resources to our sales force, and this showed in our specialty stores and online markets. However, we learned that having high purchase intentions and brand awareness does not necessarily mean that we should overproduce with production. And to conclude, we dropped our position after sustaining it until the 3rd period, but dropped in the last 2 periods by ending at the 4th position. Again, it's a simulation game with limited periods and a difficult marketing prediction. But I want to give kudos to our team for teamwork, punctuality, clear communication, collaboration, and appropriate rationale if we disagreed with the decision respectfully. As a group, we're going to miss our every Wednesday meeting at Starbucks near Friarwheel Mall. We had 100% attendance from each group member, but irrespective of the final results of this simulation, we learned from each other so much that it will help us grow professionally in our future. Thank you, Professor, and thank you for a wonderful class.